Hey everyone, it's AJ here from Seaside Scavenge. Seaside Scavenge is an organisation I started 6 years ago to make picking up litter fun and to educate communities about waste in our waterways. Obviously, at the moment, we're unable to run events, so we've transitioned some of the WasteWise workshops that we usually run with corporates and businesses onto this virtual workshop format. So please take these as an offering and take from it what you want. Today we're going to be talking about textile waste and how to sort your stuff properly. Obviously, a lot of us are home at the moment with a bit more time and a bit more time at home to see what we actually have. And so you might start to do a spring clean even though we're only just going into winter. And I thought it would be really valuable to talk to you about what you can actually do with your secondhand stuff that may not be in very good form. I don't know if any of you have ever thought about where some of your favourite items that you used to own might now be. Unfortunately, they're probably in landfill. In Australia, every 10 minutes, 6 tonnes of textiles end up in landfill. And charities nationally spend $13 million on actually disposing of textiles and donated goods that aren't of good enough quality. So when you think about it, there's charities that people are donating money to who are then having to spend that money on getting rid of donated goods that are not good quality because we, as the consumer and the donor, aren't aware of what they can actually use. So charities usually want stuff to either give to disadvantaged people, and if that's the case, they should really be receiving the best quality stuff. And secondly, if they're going to be receiving it, it's for someone else to buy in a shop, like in a charity store. So that also needs to be good quality. So giving to a charity shop is not an opportunity to just get rid of all your stuff and lump it in together. Being an NGO that accepts donations, I know firsthand the amount of bad quality stuff that comes through the doors. And I just thought that it would be really useful for people to know how to separate it more effectively. If you do have stuff that's essentially just for rags, contact your local charity store and see whether they take rags and then put all of those in one bag and label it rags. So I'm going to go through now what would probably constitute rags and what you really should not be giving to charities unless you know that they take rags. So this is a shirt. It looks really good, but actually when you open it up, it's lost all its colouring on the inside, and it actually, around the cuffs and along here, it's all discoloured. So even though the shirt itself is okay, they can't really do anything with this. They can't sell it, and we definitely don't want to give it to somebody who needs clothes because they need something that's good quality and that supports them and not brings them down. So this sort of thing, if you have clothing that's like still in good quality but discoloured, you would really need to look into like a textile recycler that could take it, and then they would be able to break it down. Activewear, we get a lot of this stuff. So for example, on these, the zipper's broken, doesn't even move. Also, the elastic is really gone around the knees. If you can see, it's quite wrinkled, doesn't stretch so much. This, we can't do anything else with. So this should also not be considered a good quality item. These board shorts, they are also elasticless. Fortunately, they do have a drawstring around the middle, and they're actually in pretty good nick. So if you do have items like this, you could take them on a case-by-case basis to your charity store and just make sure that they would still be able to accept it. We get a lot of stained clothes. We can't do it, charities don't have the capacity to wash everything. So even with this t-shirt, which is white, you can see here that it's got these yellow stains, even though they're insignificant. I mean, you're probably donating this shirt because it's got these stains on it and you don't want them. So realistically, they can't do anything with it either. Socks, also. We don't want socks that have these holes in them like that. You know, this either really needs to be turned into a rag or it needs to go into the bin. So these are just a few examples of clothes that aren't really suitable to go to your local charity store. Obviously that means probably makes up quite a lot of your things that you might want to get rid of. And this is a really good point to bring up, because textile recycling is very new. There's not really any large scale recyclers that do it super effectively. So essentially all our stuff, unless we use it and reuse it and reuse it, will end up in landfill. So it's actually our responsibility to make sure that we buy less, and when we do buy things, that we buy quality things. So avoid buying synthetic fibers, which are things like acrylic, fleece. They're all made of plastics, and rather buy things like wool that are natural fibers. And then I just wanted to touch on shoes. So don't donate one, like a single of a pair. If you do donate shoes, you need to donate both of them. But you know, shoes need to be in good nick as well. Like if you're donating things, they need to be clean. You can see here that the tops are being destroyed and they're losing flakes of the layers. So this is not something that could go to your local charity store. So if you have a pair of shoes, you'll have to look up where you can recycle shoes, where there's a facility that takes shoes to recycle them. And honestly, there's not many at all. So that's why we need to stop buying so many of them. But once you start to investigate this, you'll see for yourself that it's actually really hard to recycle textiles. So the best way to do it is turn things into rags. So this is a rag that I have. It used to be a jumper. As you can see, I just have it in my laundry cupboard. And then when I need a rag, I just rip it or cut it, and it becomes a rag. I just need to find a thread where I can actually rip it. Here we go. Can't rip it, so I need some scissors to make an incision, and then you can rip it, and then just make rags that you can reuse your clothes with. Yeah, so I hope that was helpful. Obviously, maybe a bit disempowering, but these are all conversations that we need to start having about the realities of the way that we consume and use resources. So don't be disheartened by it. Use it as an opportunity to learn, and even if it's just taking one thing at a time and learning about where to donate shirts or old socks or underwear. Just do one thing at a time for a couple of months, and then you'll slowly build up your repertoire of recycling streams where you can donate your stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that was of some benefit. We are trying to create videos and content that will actually help you around the house to reduce waste and live more consciously. So we've got a survey in the description section that will only take a couple of minutes. And if you haven't heard of us before, we're Seaside Scavenge, so you can check us out on seasidescavenge.org. We're also on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, where we share weekly Mythbusters about waste. Sorry, they're called Waste Busters, and good news stories, as well as other workshops. We're always looking for people to contribute and volunteer, and love to work with corporates of all varieties. So get in touch and stay well.